Morning students, welcome to your biology class. This video is in continuity with the previous video of absorption by roots. And the main objectives we are covering in this video are turgidity and flaccidity, root pressure, plasmolysis and deplasmolysis, passive transport, active transport and ascent of sap. So beginning with turgidity and flaccidity. So what is turgidity? Turgidity is a state of equilibrium when no water can enter into a cell. Turgid, the fully distended condition of a cell when no water is added into it. Flaccidity, a condition opposite to turgidity in which a cell is not fully charged with water and the cell content is shrunken. Acid, a cell which is not fully charged with water and its content is shrunken. Now moving on, turgor pressure. Now turgor pressure is the pressure exerted by the cell protoplasm against the cell wall in turgid condition. So an equal pressure is exerted by the cell wall on the cell contents. Wall pressure, the inward pressure exerted by the cell wall against the cell protoplast under fully turgid condition. Note, turgor pressure and wall pressure are the opposite forces which can be understood by taking an example of an inflated balloon. In the fully blown balloon, air puts pressure on the walls of the balloon. In turn, the wall of balloon exerts pressure on the air present in balloon. So if turgor pressure is equal to wall pressure, then the cell remains in turgid condition, whereas if turgor pressure exceeds the wall pressure, then the cell bursts open. It is just the same as in balloon. If it is overflowed with air, it bursts. Now, significance of turgidity. So, turgidity helps in the movement of water from cell to cell. The water moves from cell to cell, especially in the root cells because of turgidity. Water always moves from a more turgid cell to a less turgid cell. Then, maintenance of proper shape. Turgidity helps in maintaining proper shape and stretching the softer organs such as fruits, flowers, young shoots, etc. Turgidity provides rigidity. Thin-walled tissues become very rigid due to turgidity. Then movement in plant cells. Several plant movements are performed due to reversible turgor changes of the cells such as bending movements of certain flowers towards the sun are brought about by changes in turgidity. Then stomatal movements. The opening and closing of stomata are controlled by turgidity in guard cells. When the guard cells are fully turgid, they become more arched outwards and the aperture between them opens wide. And at night, when there is shortage of water in the leaf, the guard cells turn flaccid, their walls collapse and the stomatal opening is closed. So, they are often called as turgor-operated valves. Now, movements in the leaves of the insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants entrap the living prey by closing their leaves. When the prey touches these leaves, they get closed due to changes in turgidity. Then, turgidity also helps in drooping of leaves. In touch-me-not plant, the drooping of leaves on touching it brought by the changes in turgidity of the cells of the pulvinus. In this plant, the stimulus of the touch leads to loss of turgor pressure at the base of the leaflets and at the base of the petiole. Now, next topic is root pressure. So, root pressure is the pressure developed in the roots due to inward movement of water, which helps in pushing the sap of plant upwards. Examples of root pressure. First is, in the early morning, drops of water along with margins of in certain plants such as tomato, grass and banana is due to excessive root pressure. This loss of excessive water is called guttation. Second, loss of water through cut or injured stem is also due to root pressure. This is called as bleeding. And third, root pressure is seen in the cell-to-cell osmosis in the root tissue. Under this pressure, water passes from the living cells of a root into the xylem and rises up through the stem up to the leaves. Now, experiment to demonstrate root pressure. Set up the experiment as shown in the figure. Take a potted plant of balsam or tomato or bryophyllum that has been well watered in the previous day. Cut off its stem 5 to 8 cm above the soil. Fix a glass tubing to it immediately by means of a rubber connection. Connect a manometer to the glass tubing. Now, water will start coming out of the cut end of the stem and start rising in the glass tubing. The rising water will raise the mercury level in the connected manometer. This means that the water rises in the connected tube is due to the root pressure. The rising water raised the mercury level in the manometer. Related terms, plasmolysis. So the shrinkage of cytoplasm of plant cell from its cell wall under the influence of hypertonic solution is called plasmolysis, and the cell is in flaccid condition. Deplasmolysis, when a plasmolyzed cell is kept in distilled water or hypertonic solution before the cell is dead, water diffuses into the cell because of endosmosis. The cytoplasm again gets inflated and exerts pressure against the cell wall. The central vacuole reappears and this phenomena is called deplasmolysis. Then passive transport, free movement of water molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration without utilizing energy. Active transport, passage of salt or ions from its lower to higher concentration by utilizing energy from the cell through a living cell membrane. Ascent of sap, the upward movement of water along with dissolved minerals from the roots to the tips of stems, branches and leaves is called ascent of sap. Now, path of ascent of sap, the water along with dissolved substances is absorbed by the root hairs from the soil. The sap absorbed by the root hairs passes through the cortex, passage, cells and pericycle of the roots to enter into the xylem. The sap then reaches into the xylem of roots, is lifted upward. It goes up to the leaves as an unbroken column of water due to continuity of xylem elements through the plant. Now this upward movement of sap is brought about by virtue of four main forces. First is the root pressure, which builds up sufficient force to push the sap in xylem vessels up to certain height. Second is adhesion of water. It causes water to stick to the surface of cells through drawing more water molecules from below when leaf cells lose water during transpiration. Third is capillary action. Narrow diameter of xylem causes water from lower level to rise in order to fill the vacuum created by the loss of water due to transpiration. And the last is transpiration pull. More water molecules get pulled up due to the tendency of water molecules to remain joined during transpiration. Thank you.